So if you've been following my content for any period of time, this is, I think, a disappointing day, especially as it relates to the technology around gaming. Now, I think there was a lot of people who wrote Google Stadia off, and for me, the red flags really started to pile up when Google decided to shutter down their development studios. I often felt like when it comes to cloud gaming, it's an accessibility platform. It's open to more people as the internet gets better, and so it's a function of time. And today's news, where they're actually shuttering down Stadia in January 18th of 2023. We're going to go through Phil's kind of post here, so that way you guys have the details. Apparently they're issuing refunds. This is just another chalk up for the Google graveyard. It really kind of felt like it really does ring home that they had absolutely really no big intention on committing, even though they've spent billions of dollars. I think it tells you what a $1 trillion company can do, where they can just kind of do this stuff for a little bit, build out the technology, and then kind of abandon it. Google's platform, from a technological perspective, kept getting better, but the games just kept getting weaker and more or less disappearing over time, and more time to come. So it really does not bring me any amount of joy to see this happen. I was rooting for Stadia. I think, especially in the terms of gaming and competition, more competition for platforms and services is going to be where the future is fought for your hard-earned dollar and your attention. Also with some implications, especially when it comes to streaming and the connectivity of being able to just click a button and join maybe a content creator, I think was utterly fascinating. And now really the players tend to be actually whatever with Amazon still working, and their approach is a kind of a game first approach, which I think is actually the right call. Google didn't have anything that made sense that could only be done on Stadia. I think that was a key indicator where gamers were rightfully kind of concerned, or why does this need to be in the cloud versus any other place? And clearly them shutting this down and issuing refunds, it's the issuing refunds. I think that's where I'm most concerned and confused as to how that happens, having spent money on the platform. But I don't regret spending money on the platform. I thought it would have been something interesting to see. But I just want to cover this, guys, for y'all, so you're aware of what's going on. We might talk about it more in the future. I still actually do believe in cloud gaming. I still use my Shadow PC, which is fantastic. I still use GeForce Now, which is getting better and better the more games that they add. Luma is an interesting piece. Xbox cloud gaming, PlayStation. I think it's obviously, again, an emerging technology that we'll be talking more and more about of importance here as we get into the 2030s, and as the internet continues to improve. But anyway, this is what Phil has to say, and this is Phil Harrison. For many years, Google has invested across multiple aspects of the gaming industry. We help developers build and distribute gaming apps on the Google Play and Google Play Games. Gaming creators are reaching audiences around the world on YouTube through videos, live streaming, and shorts, and our cloud gaming technology delivers immersive gameplay at a massive scale. A few years ago, we launched the consumer gaming service Stadia, and while Stadia's approach to streaming games for consumers was built on a strong technology foundation, it hasn't gained the traction with users that we expected, and that we've made a difficult decision and begin winding down Stadia streaming service. I don't know how that he didn't expect this when you don't have games, and you are Google, and you literally have the ability to throw money at the problem, and the fact that you bought studios and then shut them down. This is a leadership problem. The technology, I thought, absolutely delivered, but this is an absolute leadership problem. And I don't know if Google was all right, we're just going to see what happens. Gamers are just going to flock to it if you don't have games. Games and content are king when it comes to this. It doesn't need to be exclusive, but you just need to have that as an offering. That's the thing, is when so many games didn't announce on Stadia, it was just what the hell? Especially even if you're a Linux gamer, Stadia being a Linux-based platform. It seemed that it's maybe this is going to be beneficial to Linux, but I think Steam Deck is actually doing more good in that space. We're grateful for the dedicated Stadia players that have been around us from the start. We'll be refunding all Stadia hardware purchases made through the Google Store and game and add-on content purchases made through the Google Stadia Store. Players will continue to have access to their games library and play through January 18th of 2023, so they can complete Final Play sessions. We expect to have a majority of the refunds completed by mid-January 2023 and have more details for players on this process at our Help Center. The underlying technology platform that powers Stadia has been proven at scale and transcends gaming. We see see clear opportunities to apply this technology across other parts of Google like YouTube, Google Play, and our augmented reality AR efforts, as well as make it available to our industry partners, which aligns with what we've seen a future of gaming is headed. We remain deeply committed to the gaming space, and we will continue to invest in new tools, technologies, and platforms that power the success of developers, industry partners, cloud consumers, and creators. For the Stadia team, building and supporting Stadia from the ground up has been fueled by the same passion for games that our players have. Many of the Stadia team members will be carrying out their work forward in other parts of the company, and we're so grateful for the groundbreaking work in the team, and we look forward to continuing to have an impact across gaming and other industries using our foundation of Stadia streaming technology. I think essentially what I would tell you this is that any kind of effort that Google is making within gaming should be avoided. Like, they've already clearly shown that they've already shown this, like, in terms of that industries for some people. When you look at the Google graveyard, I have no problem with them, like, obviously, like, trying things out, and if they don't work, okay, kind of shuttering it down. But it never felt like they really truly committed, and or at least had the grasp of understanding what it would take to actually get gaming off the ground. And this is a Phil Harrison problem, right? Like, he is an industry vet when it comes to it. Like, how does he not understand the difficulty of what Google stepping in, especially because they didn't have any nostalgia. They were reliant solely on these deals, and they would have to go and chase those. And so them shuttering down their studio, I thought was the biggest kind of concern, because it was like, you're not creating anything that can only then therefore be done on the cloud. And that's what I think cloud gaming personally needs to kind of differentiate itself. But maybe what it ends up being, at least in the short term, is that it just ends up being a value add on for gamers like myself who don't have a lot of time and you just want to be able to jump into a game. There were some real key things that it did well, but now obviously I think when you look at Microsoft, is probably going to be the biggest player in the space with xCloud gaming. Followed up, GeForce Now is definitely a king in the space. Shadow PC, absolutely, definitely an option for players out there who want to have more options and more flexibility. And again, games content literally going to be king, especially with anything. It's interesting because we will see Square Enix make some investments in terms of cloud gaming in the future. They said they're working on cloud games, cloud only games. And honestly, I think the MMO RPG as just a game itself, while it doesn't necessarily need to be cloud only, I think it's something that could be very unique and be a next evolution of what the genre can do, where you would probably need people with $5,000 to $10,000 dollar PCs to really kind of display the number of characters, etc. So this is a disappointment, but people did call it right. I was hoping that this would not be the case, and yeah, I'm bummed. This is a disappointment for me. It looks like I will be getting some money back because I did invest in Stadia in terms of money and buying games, playing those games on Stadia. I like the convenience of it, hands down. But as more and more games just weren't there, like, there was no reason to continue to put money into that. So I don't know how much money I'll be getting back, but I'll be letting you guys know if there's any steps or anything you need to do special to be able to get those refunds. I thank you so much for being here, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. And until next time, guys, have a good day. Take care.